Hey friends, today's episode is all about feeling enough and is inspired by my Self-Care Society class, Transformation Through Radical Acceptance. We'll start with a quote as we always do. Can you imagine not craving to be different than you are right now? Take a breath. For just a moment, can you stop craving to be any different than you are right now? Because here's the sacred paradox. Transformation begins with the radical acceptance of what is. Danielle Laporte, White Hot Truth. Man, and that is some white hot truth. I mean, the radical acceptance of who we are. And maybe you've heard me say before that lasting change comes through empowerment, not shame. And this is so true. It is the feeling and the finding of an enoughness in your life, what enoughness means to you, that allows us to move forward into who we want to be from a place of empowerment. So let's really think about this word enough. Like, what does this word mean to you? To the dictionary, they say, in or to a degree or quantity that satisfies or that is sufficient or necessary for satisfaction. Sufficiently in a tolerable degree. Okay. I hear the word, what I see here is the word satisfaction. What I hear is satisfaction. Okay. Finding a sense of satisfaction and enoughness. So as always, we're going to pause and we're going to practice. And I want you to just close your eyes if that's an option for you. And I want you to feel into this word enough. Like you're an actor or an actress, can you embody this as fully as possible in every cell of your body? And can you witness what it feels like if you were to actually live in an energetic vibration of enoughness? For me, it just feels like ease. It feels like presence and ease and just like an exhale. That I get to be myself, that I don't have to worry or be concerned with showing up as maybe I expect others to want me to show up. And I have a little meditation or a little bit of a mindset practice for you to share. So again, if you want to close your eyes, you can listen. But for me, working in the personal development space, it can feel really vulnerable. And especially if you want to be responsible about it, because there's such a difference between initiating change from a place of shame and then moving towards transformation from this empowered state, as we've talked about. And there's this required gentleness when you talk about growth so that you don't throw out the beauty of what is right now and when you're in pursuit of what's next. And these things must coexist together, okay? They must happen together. So for this moment right now, can you really just embody that feeling of enoughness, to not second guess that message you sent today, or to not think that you could have done something more, or to not compare yourself to your coworker or that person on social media, to not beat yourself up about mindless scrolling or that glass of wine or that sugary snack in the afternoon? Can the way that you showed up today be enough? Can you hear me when I ask you this? Can you really hear me? Can you feel what it might feel like to exist in an experience of enoughness, to embody enoughness, even if it's just a glimpse, okay? Can you imagine you're getting into a hot tub that you tip your toe into and you just fully immerse your body with this warm feeling of enough? Can you notice what that feels like? And can you carry that with you through this session and beyond, to this evening, to tomorrow, to always? Believing that you are enough, okay? It took me a really long time to find my enoughness. I was always trying to date the NFL player or the celebrity because of what I thought that meant about me. I was always trying to lose weight or look a certain way or dress a certain way because of what I thought that meant about me. And nothing has given me more relief or joy than loving myself as I am. And that has actually led me to so much of the growth that I've had, and so much of the personal development and the change that I've made that's been so beautiful, is because I found that place first. Okay. So we're going to really work on that together. Now, if your eyes have been closed this whole time, open them and we're going to really carry this with us. Okay. So I shared, I felt the same way about the modeling industry. As some of you know, I worked over a decade as a plus size model, pretty much full time. And I always thought that was what was going to bring me joy. That was going to bring me happiness. And it's just not the truth. I'm grateful for that career, but it was what I thought that career meant about who I was, instead of who I really am, and showing up just as I really am and allowing that to be enough. Okay. So a couple tips to really call in and more enoughness in your life before we get into our exercises, I want you to be really mindful of who you're surrounding yourself with. And I want you to set boundaries. Are you surrounded in people that are talking down about themselves or others? Okay. How do you think that affects you? We really have to pay attention to that. It's hard to escape, but it's totally possible. I just really feel like I don't hang out with anyone that talks badly about people. It's just not a vibration or a way of being that I allow into my life. Now, is it perfect? No. But for the most part, you really can shift in that direction. So really pay attention. Okay. And understand that if you feel not enough around someone, that's most likely a reflection or it is a reflection of them, not of you. I also want to really encourage you to take more time to celebrate yourself. It can be really hard to do that, but think about what makes you unique. Like, what are you proud of? So we're going to, of course, do some practices today. Let's get into that right now. So as always, we're going to practice really feeling more enough together. These exercises come straight from our Self-Care Society classes. As always, I'm going to give you the time to pause and to really think through these exercises, but you can always hit the pause button and take out a journal or ponder more on these and do this in whatever way is going to really serve you. So don't hesitate to stop it. And just a reminder that if you want to join us at Self-Care Society, you can do our free trial, selfcaresociety.co. You're going to hear some inspiring examples from those who attended this class actually live, and we would love to have you join us in that community. So our first exercise is called reflecting on enough. I want you to reflect on the topic of enoughness. Like, what has it meant in your life? How might you define it? How might you call more of it in? Okay. So my example, I said, I think I struggled with enoughness a lot growing up, especially as it pertained to my body and self-acceptance. However, I know I still struggle today, just in other ways. It's hard to find the balance of content right now and all the goals and dreams I had for myself. As a new mom, enoughness is coming back strong, and so on. Okay. So take a moment, pause and think about enoughness in your life. Where does it show up? Where can you witness it right now? And then we'll hear some great examples from our community. All right. Kendra says, enoughness is saying that I have done my best for today, being proud of what my mind and body has allowed me to do. This lacks judgment of things undone or desires to have done something differently. I often say that is good enough to end a project as a way to signal that I have done enough to fulfill what needs to be done in the moment. Man, I love that. That is good enough. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Alexandria says, since I can remember, I've always struggled with this concept of being enough. From family, society, media, etc. It's something that I think I will always struggle with due to always wanting to grow and transform myself, but also because there's parts of myself that I have yet to deal with. I recently went through a big T trauma and have truly been struggling with this concept. I feel like I'm constantly being policed and there's always something to be said about how I am with certain people. I'm currently navigating this feeling, but ultimately know that I don't need to water myself down to make others comfortable. I am enough. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing so vulnerably. What a gift. And it's a gift for so many of us who might be feeling that same way and navigating some of the same things. So our next exercise is a gratitude exercise called Gratitude for Our Abundance. And I want you to think about what we have enough of in life right now. Okay. So you're going to write gratitude using a prompt that I'm going to share with you. And I just want to give you the heads up that saying you have enough of something is not saying that you aren't open to receiving more. It simply means that you can acknowledge that you have enough to feel at ease. Okay. So you might see that creeping up as you do the examples here. So just know that it doesn't mean you're not open to getting more. Okay. So the prompt is, I have enough, comma, thank you. So my example, I said, I have enough love. Thank you. I have enough options. Thank you. I have enough food. Thank you. I have enough relationships. Thank you. Okay. So take a second here to think of 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you have enough of that you can express that for. And then we'll hear some examples. Stephanie says, I have enough courage. Thank you. I have enough resourcefulness. Thank you. I am enough. Thank you. Kristen says, I have enough love. Thank you. I have enough strength. Thank you. I have enough special people. Thank you. Okay, so our next exercise is a self-love exercise called You're Doing a Good Job. And I want you to take a moment to really remind yourself of all the places that you're doing a good job. And there's a big disclaimer here. I didn't say, where are you doing a perfect job or even a great job, okay? Just a good job is totally fine. So here's my examples. I said, Danika, you're doing a good job juggling motherhood and work. Danika, you're doing a good job of getting to bed early. Danika, you're doing a good job of eating in a way that gives you energy and clarity. Danika, you're doing a good job being vulnerable and asking for help. Okay? So take a moment here and think about where you're doing a good job. Where can you celebrate yourself for the good job that you're doing and how you're showing up? All right, Shauna says, Chana, you're doing a good job processing your feelings. Shauna, you're doing a good job recognizing your self-worth. You're doing a good job focusing on what you can change. You're doing a good job showing up to work daily and supporting your staff. You're doing a good job focusing on what's at hand today. You're doing a good job overcoming mean with goodness. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. Erica says, you're doing a good job flowing with the waves of emotion and handling them with ease. Yes. All right. So our next exercise is called You're Enough, My Friend. And I want you to think about the other people that are listening or watching the session. And I want you to imagine that you were writing them a letter or sending them a letter or sharing with them your thoughts to remind them that they're enough no matter what they're experiencing. Okay. Because oftentimes it's easier for us to sort of prop other people up and instead of ourselves. So I want you to really lean into that. What do you want them to know? Okay. So you can use the prompt below. I want you to know that you're enough, even though, or even if. So here's my example. I said, I want you to know that you're enough, even if you're living paycheck to paycheck. I want you to know that you're enough, even if you're struggling with your relationship with food or alcohol or drugs. I want you to know that you're enough, even if you weren't the most gentle parent today. Okay, so just take a moment here. Think about at least one of these statements that you would want to say. Maybe you want to think of a specific friend or loved one who's struggling. And what would you tell them? I want you to know you're enough, even though. Emily says, I want you to know that you are enough, even if you have no idea where you are headed next. Sherry says, I want you to know that you are enough forever and always, no matter how you may feel at times. Noelle says, I want you to know you're enough, even if you struggle with what you see in the mirror. I want you to know you're enough, even though things just don't seem to be going your way. I want you to know you're enough, even if someone else says otherwise. Wow. Okay. So I hope that some of these shares and some of these exercises are helping you lean into that enoughness. Maybe right now you're just going to go back to that embodiment exercise from the beginning and just bring it back to that energy. Try that enoughness on. And I want to just remind you as we close this out, because this concept of enough can be a sensitive subject. It can stir up emotions and traumas and sensitivities. So be really gentle with yourself. And I want to remind you also that you're enough simply because you exist, okay? So that's not because of anything that you do or anything you say or anything that you achieve. Your presence is important because you're here. And I believe that with all of my heart and all of me, is that you matter because you are here. And that you are having an impact and that we do need you, okay? So whether you feel challenged by that statement or not, it is true. It is true. So thank you so much for joining me today on Your Morning Mindset Practice. I really hope you're feeling more than enough. And I'd love to have you join us at selfcaresociety.co for a live or on-demand class so that you can stay consistent with your self-care, connect with other like-minded people, and continue filling your cup so you can overflow onto the world. We need you. See you next time.